Motion to go into open session. Moved by Mrs. McKenna. Seconded by Mrs. Aniello. On the question, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 6-0-0. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Giordano, the fire code?
In case of a fire, we're going to go out either door to the front of the building and out to either parking lot.
Okay, I believe we have a presentation.
We do. We have the middle school. Frank? I lost Frank. He was going to go get... We have the middle school play coming in. They're doing The Lion King. We're going to get a little presentation, so I'm going to ask the board to go on that side and watch this way. And we'll come back. And I'm going to look for Frank.
forgotten me. How could I? You have forgotten who you are. And if so, forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You must take your place in the circle of life.
But how can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are. You are my son, and the one true king.
No, wait, don't leave me, please don't leave me.
Hey, Bob. The weather must be right?
Yeah, looks like the winds are changing.
Oh, yes. Change is good.
But it's not easy. I know what I have to do, but it means facing my past. Ow, sheesh, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
But it still hurts.
Oh, yes. The past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it, or you can learn from it. Good. So what are you going to do now?
I'm going back.
Good. Get up here. Go on. Get out.
Thank you so much. That was great. Please join the middle school on Friday and Saturday nights. You're more than welcome to come and see the wonderful performance of the play. Thank you. I'm just hoping my pants don't split.
Oh, we got the curriculum presentation, right?
Thank you, hon.
These are everybody else's I took care of.
Tim? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No
You're a
problem.
sweetheart.
It's gonna be the whole record.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Do we have a presentation tonight?
Yes, we do. I gotta put it on. I think it's going on.
You do? Yeah, I thought it was just I have it right now. That's what everyone used to say. Oh. Well, she used to have the fantasy. It reminds me
Okay. Oh, Bobby. Did you interview, I think there was an open position, I think that he again put it through.
I haven't done those yet. That posting doesn't close till Friday.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Do you have something you want me to put in? Good. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming. Tonight, we're going to have a presentation on our English Language Arts Department, and it will be Ms. Kim Botton-Puso who will be our presenter.
So very quickly, just to set us up for success tonight, I wrote folders for everyone on the board. They're alphabetized, so everyone's name is on the front cover. A couple of quick things just for you to take with you, because I will make this as comprehensive as I possibly can. But I'm sure that some of the things that I speak about tonight will probably be better suited for everyone if there is data to support the information that I will give. So for the Board of Education and everyone sitting on the panel tonight, what I've done is I've prepared a folder, just a couple of quick items for you to take home with you, informational items that will speak to every point. That's awesome. So I'm going to give this to G, the quick
Okay, I'm
point
brown and
out.
white tonight.
And so this slide right here really is very important at the beginning of this presentation, because tonight I am just a conduit of information. And what I bring to you tonight really is a celebration and information that showcases all the hard work really put forth by the people that you see right here in these pictures. So I am privileged to represent these people. These people are the students, first and foremost, of Lindenhurst, and some of our faculty and staff, both middle school and high school. In that corner right over there, you will see the latest piece of literature that we have kind of talked about and discussed, and something that I'm trying to lead into professional development. All right, okay. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to give the board an invitation tonight to look at this very slide that you see in front of you. And I'd like to invite you to take a careful look at this, because this is something that we would do as an English language arts family during professional development. And so true to form, I'd like to invite you to read over the two questions that you see here. Really keeping in mind, what are the explicit differences between the two tasks or questions that you see in front of you? So for the audience, very quickly, the first question is about Act 1, Scene 3 of Romeo and Juliet. I intended to pick a staple in literature that many of us in this room probably remember reading at some point in time. And so the first question, really underneath, has a subset of questions. Questions that a classroom teacher would ask of their students. For example, who are the main characters in the scene? What does Romeo say when he first meets Juliet? How does Juliet feel about marriage in the scene? Now, the second task or question is very different from the first. And the subset of questions listed underneath are as follows. What surprised you? What did the author think you already knew before reading the scene? What changed, challenged, or confirmed your thinking throughout the scene? Where did the author have to tell you more? Okay. So if you could quickly just position yourself in the role of the facilitator or the educator in the room, I want you to think about the difference between that first task or subset of questions and the second one. And for about maybe 10 or 15 seconds, mull it over. And then I'm going to ask you very quickly, no longer than 60 seconds, to turn and talk to the person next to you and come up with a couple of ideas. What are the distinct differences between the first task and the second task? And audience, you can do this also if you'd like, but really I'd like to ask the board members to do this tonight. Just turn and talk very quickly. Thinking about really the objective here. Is there anyone who would like to share out and talk about maybe possibly what is the difference between that first task and the second task?
So the first one is really, I don't really need that, do I?
The first one's a regurgitation of facts. And it's really going to be very close, and after you ask those questions in your class, you may be covered about 3 or 4 minutes. of information, questions also directs you to personalize it to the material and how it actually bridges it.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up. This is some of the conversation that we've been having as a department, more lately than ever before. And the objective really is to move our instructors, our educators, to a place where they begin to see the power and the social interaction that is required in order to build the capacity of a literate audience, readers and writers and lifelong thinkers. And so, Mr. G, next slide, please. Okay. And so when I asked my staff basically what the differences were between that first subset of questions and the second subset, some of the responses were very interesting and similar to what we just heard here. And some of the responses also, were more geared towards the vision, the overall vision for our department. So to kind of just further substantiate some of the things that I said, taking you in the direction that we're going, we want you to know that the differences between what you just saw really substantiate a need for new programs, right? To continue to foster critical thinking skills for our students, literacy skills, technical skills, as well as creating a space where we are really cultivating lifelong readers, writers, and thinkers. And that's some of our conversation. It's also some of the reason why we've created, and I'm happy to say that we are bringing the capstone program to our department in the 2018-2019 school year. We are also really promoting digital journalism, which will help us to move and make a shift from that first set of questions to the second on a digital platform. At the middle school, we're introducing brand new courses like Freedom Writers and Stranger Things. We are really trying to do the best thing we can as a department to move in the direction of the second task. We also discussed the need for teacher collaboration, right? So to move past what we will do, we have to start talking about how we're going to do that. And we've done that, okay? By collaborating as one unit, 6th grade through 12th grade. We have, as of late, talked a lot about the next generation standards that are calling for students to adopt instructional strategies that allow opportunities for students to engage in lifelong practices. And last but not least, the difference between the first and second tab also show that there's a need for close examination, and not just of anything, but really more so of data. We need to, as one unit and one department, and we are obligated and feel privileged to start to take a look at some data so we can see where our students are experiencing some weaknesses or deficits, right? How do we make that shift? How do we get them, Mr. Garber, with all due respect, from just memorizing information, right? Reading to review, and really push them in a direction where kids are reading to learn. And so we're working on it. We're a work in progress. This is the overall vision of the English department. And we have really tried over the last 2 years to cultivate this vision. But 3 main important things are the following. We are now operating as one unit. We call ourselves the ELA family. And so we are one unit, 6th through 12th grade. We do not operate as one English department in the middle school and another English department in the high school. We really try to make decisions that will help students as they transition from middle school to high school, right? Again, going back to that idea of cultivating lifelong readers and writers. Well, how are we going to do that? We are going to focus on teaching and learning. We want to walk the walk if we're going to talk the talk. So as a department, we are also really trying to make every effort to really be the best kind of reading and writing role models that we can possibly do for our kids. And so with saying that, what we have done is we have committed to professional development. We do that as a team, as one unit. And so what you see right here is just a quick overview of our department by the numbers. Our full-time employees, the amount of courses we offer in those buildings, the electives that we now actually offer at the high school, and the amount of AP programs at the high school, and the soon-to-be electives that we will offer at the middle school. Okay. The next 2 slides department meetings. We have monthly faculty meetings. There are quarterly professional development opportunities for grade level teams. And what that means is every marking quarter, we also get the 6th grade team, the 7th, 8th, 9th through 12th grade teachers in the ELA department so they can collaborate, work on assessments, talk about best practice. We also try very hard to allocate common prep time for teachers who work in the program. We share out every single bit of what we do in terms of department agendas, professional development opportunities through Google. It's a great way for us to stay connected, especially between the middle school and the high school. Upcoming professional development opportunities are always posted and offered and encouraged to our teachers, and that's shared in our Google folder. And I am really excited to tell you that we now have a departmental e-board. So we've done this in an effort to remain transparent, not only with the community, but with parents, with kids, and it really makes life a lot easier when there is one common hub, one place where we showcase the hard work that we do. And we've done that through departmental e-board. Okay, student support system. We offer peer tutoring. We have extended labs exclusively at the high school now. Homework club, there's a writing center at the high school, the library media center, and individual teachers also offer extra help in our department. This is an image of our departmental e-board. You'll notice that the very first page that comes up when anyone visits the department e-board is the page that is dedicated to the community and to parents. We think that that's so important, maintaining those lines of communications with parents. So if parents would like to know about the bell schedule, code of conduct, the attendance policy, our new digital newspaper, any other new courses, graduation requirements, and sometimes those things are changing frequently, we have that posted there for parents. Up top, we have separate tabs, and those tabs represent the work that we are doing. We have parent informational nights. We had one this year at the high school. Dr. Grant helped me facilitate that night for the capstone program that we're rolling out. We have the departmental e-board, and we do offer our assistance not only in the coordinator office, but we work very closely with the guidance office. And that seems to make everyone's life easier when we work as a team. Okay, so what's new? What's next for the ELA department? I do want to highlight two specific things, one at the high school and a couple at the middle school. The first thing is that at the high school, we are rolling out Capstone, and I know I've mentioned that phrase a couple of times already. This program will begin next year and will be offered to 10th grade students. It's a wonderful opportunity for students to work on independent research, for them to collaborate, for them to really fine-tune and cultivate their communication skills. And we are happy that we are able to offer that opportunity to sophomores, to 10th grade students, as opposed to just 11th and 12th grade students who are currently taking AP Lang or AP Lit. And that's wonderful. But really, Capstone promises to be that gateway into not just success in an AP English course, but really success in every AP course offered at the high school. And so the skills that the kids will be working on in Capstone will hopefully transcend into every AP class that they are taking. Whether it's physics, whether it's AP US, the kids will really acquire the necessary skills to be successful in those other courses as well, such as research skills. At the middle school, I am proud to tell you that the teachers have worked incredibly hard to create electives for next year. And these are the list of electives that will be offered starting And then once they're married to that topic in the second year of the program, which would be the 11th grade year, they really spend the entire year writing almost a mini dissertation, where they have to enlist the assistance of community members, organizations, and then they put together a portfolio, their body of work, so to speak. And it is reviewed by College Board, and that's how, they get their unofficial score, so to speak, on College Board. We haven't really talked about a celebration, so to speak, in-house, but I'm sure as we move towards that second year of the program, we will, talk about what we will do in terms of honoring our students, because it's a long journey, it's a difficult journey, but it's a very rewarding journey. And Mr. Garvey, we went over to Massapequa and Plainview to see this program in action,
have students and we have some serious social and emotional problems with our students. This can really, truly help them. So I think that I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. And the question I had for you was, I saw you mentioned summer reading, and that's always been something that I think is very important. I am a reader, and one of the criticisms I always have is that the choices of what they have to read or what they're forced to read in summer reading programs in districts. And years ago, I remember one of my children had to read from Paul Boozer. Don't even understand why anyone would select that book, but even after reading it, I don't think that was, for somebody who is a struggling reader, might have a hard time, where I didn't understand why it wasn't more books where a kid who doesn't like to read, you might find have a few choices or something. And I find that some parents would talk to me about that. So I think that if we could ever, do something like that, or make it a little more exciting, and there's a lot of great books out there. And I think that that's always been something that I grapple with. I didn't really get that, but I see that you're bringing that to the attention more of that. So that would be my only.
I am very excited to tell you that Mr. Nacarado is supporting us in our decision to really consider what it would be like to provide a little more choice for students in terms of their summer reading. And we're very excited about that as a department, because I think when we look at the next generation standards, one of the things that, again, it continues to emphasize is building lifelong readers. And how do we do that? Well, we get kids to read more. But how do we get kids to read more? We give them motivated. And so we are working on how to do that, but still really come up with something that is creative, and yet still places a little accountability on students to really commit to doing something over the summer and participate. So we will get there. We do have grade level meetings so planned, and we're going to make those decisions by the end of April.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Really great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, well, we hope everybody had a nice break and enjoyable holiday. I'd like to congratulate the students that did performance tonight. It's wonderful. And if you have the opportunity, please come out on either Friday night or Saturday night to watch the middle school play. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Faculty and staff of the district hit the courts on Friday before the break. Hit the courts Friday before the break in the 4th annual Battle of the Schools Teachers Spiking Out Cancer. This was the first year to include a team comprised of Lindenhurst alumni, otherwise known as Ringers. That team competed against the middle school team to earn the title of champions, and this year fundraiser generated about $2,870 for the Renner Foundation. Before the break, students from West Gates held their annual wax museum depicting historical figures, while students of Harding presented a wax museum of important figures from the Civil War. Students and parents were able to visit the exhibits and learn more about those historical figures. On Friday, April 6th, the Lindenhurst staff took part in a series of staff development presentations geared towards keeping our students safe. One was about gangs, the other was about an active shooter, and the last was called Stop the Bleed. All three presentations were really well attended and really, I think, were very interesting. Believe it or not, our robotics team, who is competing tonight, have been getting updates, so I put it on here. Robotics won tonight as a finalist in their first part of the competition. They got the Excellent in Engineering Award and a wildcard entry to the World Championships in Detroit in 2 weeks. So we might have to approve that.
Absolutely.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, like tonight. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Agenda questions. Do any of my colleagues have any questions on agenda items? Mr. Garvey.
Actually, it's back to the report to the community. Mrs. Giordano, on behalf of the board, I want to say thank you to the events that you put on Friday. I was able to attend most of it, and I thought the presentations were incredible, and it was a great service that you provided to the district. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you so
Your
much. I
active
appreciate
shooter.
it. The active shooter.
Yes.
I'm going to bring that back, so you know, Mr. Garvey, today I spent most of the day trying to figure out when we could do that for parents and students. It's finding a date that one of the auditoriums is not used. It's virtually impossible from now till the end of the year, but we will find a date and get that to come back for parents and students. And any staff members that would like to attend again. Okay.
Mrs. McKenna.
Superintendent's recommendation, 8.1, the budget adoption. Are we gonna, is there gonna be any, Dan, you were gonna discuss the couple?
Yes, we'll do a little presentation right after we finish this part. After the questions, I'll have Grace do a little.
Are we adopting first, or we're gonna ask?
No, we're going to ask them, we're going to go through it first.
Okay, I think we should, there's
Oh,
some things.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Any other questions on agenda items? Okay.
You want to have Dr. Chan do her
Yes,
presentation?
absolutely.
Grace, do you want to? You could do it from there if you'd like.
No, she can do her
Oh.
presentation, then I'll go back to individuals and then I'll do.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. We don't have the PowerPoint presentation on the slide, but we have a copy of it on the table if you want to get a copy if you don't already have one. It's a very small presentation. On the second page is basically the same presentation that I gave at my last meeting. It's the 1819 maximum allowable levy. It's the same exact slide. The main point of here is that I wanted to let you know that we are not piercing the cap. We're doing what we're allowed to, and within the cap presentation, it's 3.68%. And on the next slide, it's basically a recap of how we're going to fund the expenditures. We put the budget together since the last time we met, and we were able to close our gaps. Right now, the total expenditure is $160,671,302. As you can see, there has been an increase of $4.6 million. We plan to fund that with the state aid, which there has been a decrease given to us this year. We have other local revenues, which has a slight increase of almost $40,000. The property tax levy is because of the 3.68%. We were allowed to go up $3,536,000. And the reserves are a new part of the revenue where we are now tapping into our reserves to help close the gap. We are presently using $3,313,000 of the reserves, and the appropriate fund balance is now $1 million. So our total revenue, which will equal to our expenditures of $160,671,302. On the next slide, I just, again, this is a repeat slide that I brought in from my last presentation. I feel that it's very important. Another item you'll be voting on this year beside the budget is to create a capital reserve. There is no money being funded in the capital reserve. It just allows us to open a capital reserve for $15 million, and we're allowed to fund it over the next 10 years from any excess fund balance that we have at the end of the fiscal year. That's the main purpose of it, but we cannot fund it until we set this up, and this is the first step to doing that. So you will see a proposition this year where you will have to vote on that. And the last page is just to remind you the date of the vote and the locations. Does anyone?
I'd just like to let everybody know, I know we did talk about security and increasing security. We do have Suffolk County Police Department coming in and doing a survey of our schools. They will meet us hopefully shortly. We did put on our, I'm going to call it a reservation if nothing else, with the Homeland Security, the Department of Homeland Security for the county, and they did assure me that they were going to come through and go through each of our schools. We are doing some other measures other than just waiting for them to come. For instance, we are changing all the locks on all the doors in the classrooms so teachers can lock from inside as well as outside. Unfortunately, our classroom doors are so old, the locks were not able to be done that way, so you'd have to open the door to lock it, which is not exactly the safest thing. So everything's here. Mr. Gazzetto has all the locks on hand at this point, so we're going to be starting to change all those almost immediately. The security, we did propose to put in an additional security guard in each building. We did take that out because, as you know, we do have a deficit of about 1.29 million from last year's state aid. So we did have a decrease, even though the state gave us more money, it's still 1.29 less than last year. So those security guards are out until we really meet with the police department and see what their suggestions are. It makes sense, instead of jumping the gun and putting things in place that could cost the district money, that we wait and see what the evaluation from the police department is and work that way forward. And that's really all I have to say. Do you have any other questions
Any questions?
for the board?
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, we have.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Individuals and delegations. Anybody have any questions on agenda items? Ma'am?
I just have a question regarding the second security guard. I know the people that work at the front desk were told that their job was being eliminated
Right.
due to another security.
Well, we told them there was a possibility. We told them that it might not come to fruition with the budget, and until we really had it solidified, my recommendation to the board tonight is to not put those in place, so those people will retain their jobs until. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. You want to tell them about the amendment on this?
Sure.
Point one.
If you look at, in 8.1, it says the attached budget is for the 2017-18. It really should say 18-19 school year. So that will
Okay.
be, when
So that'll
we
be
say
as amended,
yeah,
that's the
That's the amendment.
Superintendent's recommendation 8.1.
Budget adoption?
Moved by Mrs. Cunningham, seconded by Mrs. McKenna. On the question. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 6-1-0. Superintendent's recommendation 8.2.
BOCES, Eastern Suffolk BOCES Cooperative Bidding Program, Resolution A for 2018-19 school year.
Can I get a mover? Move it. Moved by Mrs. Cunningham, second. Seconded by Mrs. Aniello. On the question? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 7-0-0. Superintendent's recommendation 8.3.
Western Suffolk BOCES Multi-Year Agreement.
Moved by Mrs. McKenna, seconded by Mrs. Cunningham. On the question? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 7-0-0. Superintendent's recommendation 8.4.
Obsolete equipment.
Moved by Mrs. Aniello, seconded by Mrs. McKenna. On the question. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 7-0-0. Can I get a mover for the schedules in
Wait,
their...
budget transfers, 8.5?
Did I miss that?
Yeah, it's at the
I'm
bottom.
sorry.
Yes.
Superintendent's recommendation 8.5.
Budget transfers over $5,000?
Moved by Mrs. Cunningham. Who's second? Lenny? Oh, seconded by Mrs. McKenna. On the question. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 7-0-0. Now, could I get a mover for the schedules in their entirety? Moved by Mrs. Aniello. Seconded by Mrs. McKenna. On the question. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 7-0-0. Where am I?
Unfinished business?
Do we have any unfinished business? We have any new business? You have any superintendent's reports?
Yes, budget transfers under $5,000.
Okay, duly noted. Dates to remember are listed. Can I get a motion to go in executive session to discuss personnel? Moved by Mrs. Cunningham, Seconded by Mrs. Aniello. On the question, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained, motion carries 700.